We're live. What? All right, we're live. That has happened. I'm not sure exactly. We're on a different night. If anyone else as lost as I am, look who's with me. Look at these people. I have the fantastic Monica Hamburg is with me. I have Steve Winchester, the Iron Tongue himself, which is we were discussing. That's a wrestling move. It's a good submission hold. I'm the Love Doctor. This is the Love Doctor live stream. And cheesy music. Yeah, where's my spoons? Oh, I had to give them to all the heroin addicts. It's all right. Oh, Vintage Vixen. Hello, the fantastic Yale Perez is here as well. I know my heart's all aflutter. Why are I'm with two fantastic people who are being quiet? That's not why they're fantastic. They're fantastic because they speak. Let them.
Let us speak. Hello.
We were being pour a fucking drink. Right.
Yeah. It's like you were speaking and we were listening.
Yeah.
That's how communication works.
Well, I mean, not usually with performers. Usually we're like, wait till we. It's just is there a second pause? I'm going to tell you about myself. But we were not doing that.
Paul McKay is watching. Hello, Paul. Whereabouts are you in the world now? Just welcoming everyone to coming in here. Denny Leger, Heidi Ho, and howdy do. All right, it's fucking tongue twisters for me. And we've got Christopher Murtaugh. A happy second Wednesday. Second Wednesday. I feel like it's this explains the hairy feet. I'm a halfling. It's because normally it's a Wednesday, Monica. That's why it's a second Wednesday. Bijou Bizou, Meek Performers Anonymous. I don't know why they get me in this fucking
We're not
meeting.
meek. We're polite.
Yeah,
Polite.
respectful.
Oh.
Is this the end of your gin?
Right. I definitely have to start mentioning to these people because I have just killed a bottle. We have a soldier down.
I actually I once asked Victor Brand Mousetraps for free mousetraps for my act, and I got a very nice no response back.
Very nice. No response. No response. All right. And a little bit of that. I'm fucking out of all the supplies, which is bad.
He's gonna mix everything together. So you have just a little bit of gin, a little bit of vodka, a little bit of whiskey, and then a little bit of alcohol poisoning.
Most definitely. That last bottle was at least tonic, because I am worried about the malaria at this point. And we have a question. Was that a no response or a no response? I was unclear myself.
I had the same question, but I didn't want to be rude and be like, wait, maybe that was the punchline. I'm gonna just back away.
If you're expecting me to pre-plan my punchlines, this is gonna be a long night. Because I'll need to pre-plan some punchlines, and I don't have my notebook with me, so
Did they write back at all, or did they write your plight?
They wrote back, and it was like, "Thank you very much for your enjoyment of our mousetraps. No, we are not going to give you anything for free. That is not their intended use."
I suppose I can see that. I can see that if somebody wanted to do a demonstration of lawn darts, like lawn dart hockey with somebody playing goal, then they would probably, the lawn dart people probably would have said no. If they didn't say no, that's why they're banned now. And Denis Leger wanted to make sure that we understood that meek means strength under control. Most people don't get the right definition.
I did not know that.
I did not know that as well. That may be one of those words that has changed over time.
It's like the original definition is like the original meaning is this, but how everyone uses it means this.
Oh yeah.
So it's literally changed. Which was the correct use of that fucking word?
It was literally figuratively changed.
Oh, that's a repetitive redundancy. Wait, what? No, why? We're doing word things. No, this is
not the show.
Is that wrong? Is that...
we should be doing words.
Should I not have done that?
No, you've been quiet. You should be talking more.
I was quoting George Costanza on Seinfeld, where he's like, "Was that wrong? Should I not have done that?" When it was something that was very obviously wrong. I just like saying that when it's something that's like super wrong. So what?
Understood. All right. I'm not drinking alone. You two better have drinks handy.
I can't drink the
or is-
coffee. I don't. Okay.
Monica's embarrassed. She doesn't have a beverage.
I don't have a beverage, and I have a water bottle, and it looks so bad when I drink out of a water bottle. It's just
Is that close to the camera, or is it like 8 liters?
It's 8. It's a liter and a half. So it's like, yeah, it's not like a small water bottle. Could that be hilarious if it was like, it's the tiniest thing because I'm 4'10", so everything just gets disproportionate.
Yeah.
I'm actually the same size as the liter bottle.
I was about to say, you said it's a liter and a half, and I thought you were probably 2 liters max.
You'd be drinking it and just your atoms would be disassociating because they're overhydrated.
It's probably
That's
the
what
wrong
happens.
question to ask, but isn't there a legal definition to what a little person is?
Yeah, there actually is. I looked it up because, I'm small. I believe it's 4'6" or 4'8". It's 2 inches shorter than I am.
All right,
I
all right.
believe.
I had in my head that it was 4'11".
Oh,
I'm not sure why.
I know that
So-
sounds right.
Those are
Hold
literal
on.
giants compared to 4'8".
Okay, so hold on. We're doing this while you're on the phone because now I need to know height. Okay, you guys talk amongst yourself.
All right, Paul McKee is calling you a half pint, mainly probably because he's near twice your height. Paul's quite the physical giant.
Wait.
Give
4'10" and a half.
Ooh.
So
4'10".
I missed it by half an inch.
But you win by Price is Right rules because Paul went over, or Love Doctor went over.
That's true. That's but I definitely that's I do remember it being very close. Being like, okay. That's what's happening.
And that means you do qualify as well. So if anyone wants to ask questions, Paul, you're only 5'10". I've met you. You must have been wearing stilts, because you towered over me, and I'm 5'9". I'm just saying. I'm just not. I mean, I'm not self-conscious about my height at all, but
I am.
you're self-conscious about my height.
It's very concerning.
Yeah, it
Can
makes
you-
me uncomfortable too.
If you could grow like,
I'm more self-conscious about my width.
I'm fine with the width because if you grow that much, if you could just stretch it.
Now, Val is Paul's partner,
not how
and
people
she's
work.
5'2". So that might sort of accentuate the physical differences.
I have a pair of my friends back in Toronto. One of them is 6'8", and his partner is like 5 foot, maybe a little less.
That's so
And
cute.
on their very first date, they were like standing, waiting to cross the street, and he like leaned down to whisper in her ear, "If anyone sees us right now, they think we're circus people," and then stood back up.
That is amazing. You know when you
And
started that
they're
sentence?
married.
Sorry. Oh no, I think that's the cutest. But I did like when you started the sentence. You started it off with, "I have a pair of my friends," and then I thought you were going to say pants or some item that belonged to them that you had kept for some weird reason. I won't put it past you, but
I am like
All
a
right.
crow.
Just as a reminder, you can ask your questions here in the chat. Remember to hit the like. We've got a couple people who've hit the like already. Like and share, please. That does help grow the visibility of the channel, and it's a nice, easy thing to do. If you want to ask questions anonymously, you can go to Slido or Slido.com or just sli.do, and the event code is TLD28 to ask questions. We already got a question asked. Somebody's already asked that question. Do you feel like answering a question now?
That's kind of why we're here, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not
it
just
is.
to shoot the breeze.
not just to be the iron tongue. We want me to do other things.
And Steve has actually he looks perplexed because we switched positions. He looked away for a second.
And I looked back and I grew a mustache and I was wearing sunglasses and I was like, I don't remember looking like this earlier. I have no object permanence whatsoever. I am a toddler, like baby.
So Adam Cavill says, "Hey folks, that face looks familiar, but it doesn't look like the face that I don't know that name, Adam Cavill, but the face looks familiar." Bijou Bizou has said the JCVD's co-stars walked in a trench to make him look the same height in Street Fighter.
When you're a star, they dig you a trench.
Well, no, they think your co-star's a trench.
Yes. That's
And
nice.
it was, who was it? It is Tim Rowcliffe. That's it's a new spelling of Tim Rowcliffe. Tim is a big friend and fan of the Battlecom show. So yeah, it's what was it? Sly Stallone used to wear lifts. Like full high heels.
I've had to stand on boxes to be somewhat close to my co-stars, especially during an argument.
Yeah. So like you get the box because you're not the star.
That's right.
When you're the star, they'll get the trench.
Yes, that's right.
Someday I've had to stoop. I guess it's how the budget, they couldn't afford boxes or trenches for the types of films I've been in.
That's a level, yes.
We need all the apple boxes for our apples.
Well. For our apples.
That's right. We're baking pies later, and we don't care if he's tall enough for the other actor.
It's a bake sale for the budget.
All right.
Oh man, that'd be more than anything.
To the audience question, sir, it's a very important question that the two of you have just brought up.
Okay.
Apple pie, cinnamon or no cinnamon?
No cinnamon.
My mother is allergic to cinnamon, so I'm a fan of cinnamon. I feel like it just adds that fall crispness that just brings out like the taste of like the sugars and like in the yumminess of the apples, and like without the cinnamon it's just a little lacking.
I'm very particular about apple pie. Just like a thing that I tried here in Canada for the first time was to have apple pie with an aged cheddar melted on it, with a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Yum.
And those three things are just beautiful. Christopher is saying he prefers his apple pie with no apples, but peaches or blueberries instead. That's understandable, Christopher. Though it'd be hard to order it that way. You can ask for peach pie. It'd save a lot of fucking time and odd looks from the servers.
If you want to be one of those, like I would like to have a hamburger without any meat, without any ketchup, with some croutons on it, and then a Thousand Island dressing on top, please.
And you're somebody who's going to have your salad touched.
With genitals.
All right, I only came to this realization about a week ago, and it's been bothering me, and it's been gnawing at me. There's a thing that I have every fall that I've not had this fall, and I don't think I'm going to get just because of fucking COVID. Pumpkin pie.
I went grocery shopping a little while ago with the specific intent of buying pumpkin pie, and there was no pumpkin pie, so I got pecan pie because it starts with a P, but they are very different pies.
They are quite different pies.
It's pecan concerning that you did not know that in advance, but yes, in fact, they are different pies.
You know what? I thought pumpkins was a nut.
It's a legume.
It's a gourd. It's just the most Canadian thing I've ever heard.
It's a gourd.
I know plenty of gourds.
There is pecan pie is. I only realized this that in Quebec, one of the national dishes of Quebec is the sugar pie.
Sugar pie, right?
All right, which is pecan pie minus the pecan.
The pecans, yeah. You don't want to over budget. That's that the pecans are expensive. Just the sugar. Sugar proper is fine.
All right. If I wasn't already in love with the fantastic vintage Vixen Montreal, aka Ia Perez, Miss Meow, I think I just would have just doubled over in love. All right. I'll definitely. Yes, I'll send that to you.
Miss Meow, when his address, it might look like it's coming from me.
No.
But in fact, it is still from. Well, what I like also is that for your listeners who are just listeners who aren't like watching it, what this sounded like was, "Hi, Miss Meow. Yeah, I'll send you that," because they didn't have any context for what that was. But you're gonna send her something. And it sounded like she was like getting information out of you. I was like, I'll send you that.
That is one way to get information out of me. I'd probably be an easy torture victim. There it is. All right. I guess maybe we should go to the question. So anyone who wants to ask an anonymous question can go to Slido. Hashtag TLD28 is the event code. And let's see if I can do this properly. Look at that. Ooh. It's there. All right. Dear Love Doctor. Now, we had a problem last week where people could only ask one question. That has been fixed. So you can ask multiple questions now. Dear Love Doctor, how do you overcome the feeling of erasure when you are queer but in a straight relationship? You need to... All right. What I would have to say is if you are in a relationship, you're with somebody you love and who loves you, what I would recommend is the fact that if you're open and honest and they treat you, make sure that that you're clear to them of your status. It's loving the person is the most important thing, and they should be able to love you, the whole you, and understand that. If they have trouble understanding that, be patient and kind and explain it. If they're dismissive of it, then you need to be rethinking the relationship.
There's also the chance that how this person means it is that they feel a sense of erasure because they are in a straight relationship. So to the outside world, they're perceived as straight, but they in fact are queer. So that might be another possibility.
Yeah, I would assume it's very difficult to present as queer when you are when you're looking as if you are humdrum state of the normal. Like I apologize for the word normal.
No. But what's normalized, right? What is considered?
So it's hard. I would just say just make sure that you are as loud and proud as you should want to be, and be with a partner that is happy to walk around with your rainbow blazer and non-binary pin or whatever.
I completely agree, and the fact is having the partner who respects you. This is the thing. One of the things that annoys me is people who are not in a relationship being concerned about another person's relationship.
It's so bizarre.
Those are the people who have the problem. If you are in a happy relationship, then be happy and enjoy it. If the sense of erasure.
Not the band.
No. That in the sense is what other people are trying to force upon you, and you do not have to accept that.
It's very true.
Being you is what's probably most important.
It's like the best part about society is that you're in a society, and the worst part about society is that you have to listen to other people sometimes. So it's hard to keep other people's opinions of you away from you, but it's very important that you remain true to yourself.
Yeah, and people love putting people in boxes. Like people that have kind of restricted lives really enjoy telling you who you are because it matches what they're comfortable with. Yeah. So, okay, so now you're dating a man. Well, does that not mean you're straight? And it's, that's it.
Especially
it's
for
about them.
Humanity loves you are this or you are this.
Yes.
And for bisexuals or non-binaries or anyone who transgresses this, you are this or that, it's difficult for people to comprehend. And when you see somebody who's I am female presenting and I am a bisexual, but I am currently in a relationship with a masculine presenting person, it's so easy for everyone to go, oh yes, they're straight. And it's but no, just because I'm dating a man today doesn't mean that I'm any less bisexual, because people's identity transcends their current situation.
Sure. That makes sense. It's weird that that's so challenging to understand. No, I'm not surprised by you. I'm surprised.
I am.
I'm surprised by the fact that that is like that really boiled it down to the essence, right? Where like, well, what? Okay, it's So I've lost my train of thought, but really, I was impressed because it really summarized the whole truth of the situation.
I do long for the day that we can get rid of the idea of gender and of orientation.
Yeah,
And
that'd
that
be
people
nice.
can be just registered as people, and people can do what they want and love who they want without anyone else trying to fill out a census form.
Do they have to be registered though? You mentioned they'd be registered as people. Do we have to register? I mean, I don't
we do
like
not.
paperwork.
Did I say registered?
Yes.
You did say
recognized.
registered.
Be recognized as
Yeah,
people.
that's better.
That's a relief because I don't want another form. I can't do more forms right now.
And talking about forms, what's the best way to dispose of my husband's body during COVID times?
This is a Devin question.
Okay, so first you need to establish whether or not he is infected, because you don't want to have a body go out and do anything to another person, unless you're the type of murderer that doesn't care about the ramifications of their crime. I would say that the best way to dispose of a body safely during COVID is to make sure, like, first, your bubble has to be small. Preferably, if you have your own automobile, you could put your body in the trunk and then just drive somewhere, bury it where no one's going to find it, and then Bob's your uncle. You're good to go. If you do not have access to a car, and things like gallons of lye are prohibitively expensive, if you have a food processor, and
I think we might be pushing the limits here of legal advice. Again,
I'm not legally suggesting anything.
This is.
I didn't realize this show was under
entertainment
scrutiny
purposes.
by the law.
Just you'd be surprised how much I'm watched. There it is.
by people in charge of lawmaking. Yes, I would be surprised.
Most probably. Monica, do you have any suggestions for the person who asked what's the best way to dispose of my husband's body during COVID times?
No, I mean, I don't feel like, as a general sense, I'm like, I don't think I want to kill anybody. But then I also watch a lot of true crime, and I'm like, I would be really bad at killing people. And that's what people miss, is that they don't know how stupid they are. And I know how stupid I am. I know how forgetful and how many details I would screw up on. I cannot give you any advice. And you can't watch a lot of good stuff about it because most of these people have been caught. So they fucked up in some respect. What I can say is what not to do, which is on a recent episode of a show, a true crime thing. Don't kill your partner and then throw some of the body parts all over your backyard.
Higgledy-piggledy?
Yeah, just like that, just because you're panicking and you're just like, I can't. It's snowing, and and then just and then when you realize that the authorities on your train, then try to collect as many body parts as you remember strewing. Don't do that, because that was not good.
Personally, what I would say is make sure they're registered to vote in Florida. And then leave them on a beach. But hypothetically, make sure that it's been a natural
Hypothetically.
But yeah, and make sure that vote gets counted for Florida as well, for the right one. And we're just going to suggest to make sure that everybody votes entirely. I do. Let's take a little bit of a moment. Monica, Saturday you're going to be on the Halloween Trick or Tease show.
Yes.
With a couple of segments, so it's going to be quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you have in your Confined show? When's the next Confined?
It will be not tomorrow, but the Friday after that, so November 6th.
And it's every 2 weeks, and people can find that on your Facebook page, or do you have a separate? You
can watch it on my profile going live. You can watch it on Zoom, but basically if you go to anywhere. You'll probably find the information. I think the easiest place to go to would just be monicahamburg.com, and then it'll give you information about where to go. Directly to the source. Just
to the source.
To the source.
Steve Winchester, do you have? I know live performances are kind of out, but do you have any pre-recorded or?
I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and the premise that I did was I did all of the stunts that I will not be able to do until COVID is over, like all of the body fluidiest things, because I won't get to do them again for a while. And I think that was with the Bête Noire Theater Project. It's probably still up on their website. You can see some it started with a excerpt of a film noir-esque murder mystery, and then there was some weird avant-garde like Mystery Science 3000 kind of comedy, and then me.
I might miss it. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah,
I do admit to flinching occasionally when you're on stage. For those of you, the reason why he is the Iron Tongue, it's because he most trap will snap there. You can see it in the picture. Let's bring that out just a little bit there. That's and yeah, the nail for the nose, for the spike through the skull, and is that a weasel trap or is that a bear trap or is it a wolf trap?
I think that's a wolf trap.
It's a wolf trap.
The artistic depiction of such. The one I have doesn't have any teeth on it because you don't want to fuck up the fur.
Right, and it's much better to know that you're using it for that than for its intended purposes.
Yeah,
so
all of my animal traps have only ever been used on human beings,
as it should be. I know a show. I was at a show where someone fainted 3 times during his act. Not once, not twice, but they kept waking out from their faint and seeing what he was doing, and then going down again. And it was amazing.
All right, we got the questions are piling up here, so we should probably get to a few of the questions. The next question is: does size matter? Size matter, Monica? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know what they're talking about, but if they are talking about the very stereotypical does size matter, like I never understand that. Like I never understand what anyone's talking about because it's fine. It's always fine. Like I mean, unless you don't have a penis, or it's like super, super small, like the general range is fine. So that's
all right. Mr. Winchester.
I would say that size only matters if it matters to you. But then you're not dating a person, you have fetishized their genitals. So if it's your thing, and you were like, I can only enjoy a person of a certain size, then
like that's how you. I like that was the spacing that you did. It was
yeah. If you need somebody who's at least like a baby's fist and arm. But make sure that your partner who you are with is aware that you are only with them for their giant penis, and you are just doing it because you have fetishized that part of them. Hopefully you don't, because that's not super great. But if that's your thing, that would be the only time that I can imagine size mattering.
This is not related, but Peter Bowen is said, "Oh, it does." He hears rumors that is related
about him.
Apparently, I was meant to click on this one where it says, "Oh, the gang is back." So welcome, Peter, for watching. And I believe Wendy Bonbon saying, "I love that," was more in reference to the fact that your animal traps are cruelty free. Well, I mean they're cruel to you,
they're not cruelty free.
Yeah.
I can guarantee they are not cruelty free.
But they have not been used on animals or for their intended purposes. I'm gonna. You two took very serious responses to the question: does size matter? And this is an entertainment show, so I do want to point out that a good part of pleasure of intercourse, if we're talking about PIV, is due to friction. And if the vagina is just too huge, it's not going to be as pleasurable.
Like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Exactly. There we are. We got the old vaudeville joke out. So there we go. Let's. I'm having a hard time sharing my intimacy with my chosen partner. Any advice on how I can overcome this? I'm gonna jump on that one first. The communication is gonna have to be key at this point in time. I'm not sure exactly why when you're saying you're having a hard time sharing your intimacy. It could be distance during COVID. It could be the level of stress that everyone is feeling right now. You need to confide into your partner whether or not you've noticed that the time to share intimacy is not happening to the degree that you would like. But please communicate with your partner and communicate that how you feel about them emotionally as well, and ask them if they've noticed, and ask yourself as well as them what you can do to overcome this deficiency that you're currently feeling. Whether or not that deficiency is real, it's something you're feeling at this time. And I know that being locked up has been rough on a lot of people. Stephen, do you have anything you wish to add?
It's hard because like intimacy and honesty and like open lines of communication it's work. Like the idea that you can just like have like a conversation that like bubbles forth and like and your partner will sit there and listen and absorb all of your truths and all of your hopes and dreams. That's great, but you don't do that on the first day. You work up to that. You gain trust and you work on your own things. Like I know I myself I have a problem voicing a lot of things because I have this mentality of if there's a problem, I'm going to fix it. And personally, I will fix this. And if there's no problem, keep your mouth shut because there's no problem. And it's a mental block that you have to get over with, that it's like, my partner is here for me. It's not my job to fix everything. And it's not my job to let everything stay the same. We're here to be together. Yeah.
Intimacy, let yourself be seen by being yourself. Denis Leger is dropping a little bit of wisdom on it. Monica, do you have what is your take on this?
I very much understand. I was trying to figure out, first of all, what their intent was. Like, whether they mean sharing my intimacy as in being sexually intimate, or if it's sharing my intimacy as in being honest, like being intimate about my feelings and who I am. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with the latter for this. I think it is very challenging to say things that are uncomfortable, for whatever reason that they're uncomfortable. Sometimes it's just what you've internalized as this is a good thing to say, this is a bad thing to communicate about. But it's hard. It's very challenging. I think that if you're with a person who is an adult or who tries to be an adult, I don't even want to say they are an adult, we're all immature, but that someone who's working on being a human being, I think that it is a good idea in that case to communicate, and that it usually will make you feel a lot better that you have been honest and truthful about who you are or what the problem is. It generally does feel better to have that conversation. And even if it does result in, well, the person feels differently and maybe but that's good to know too. So it's good to be honest. It's just very hard sometimes.
And I want to just sort of add in what Stephen had mentioned about his personal views. A lot of that is a societal programming that goes into what men are taught to be when they're growing up. And there are pressures there. And there are some things that need to be sort of changed. And
the patriarchy is bad for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Most definitely. Denis Leger has also put in a relationship as an open door to reveal your heart.
As is the ribcage.
Yeah, the ribcage. No. That's going to be your next act, isn't it? Oh,
where's my pen?
So we're giving him ideas.
He's going to take the pen and open his ribcage with it now, right on the show, live.
Live on the show. I don't know what YouTube would think of that if we had that happen. We're going to go into the next question that has popped up there is what's the best way to apologize to the upstairs neighbors for the late and loud bedroom activities? Flowers, a card, an invitation to dinner. Maybe not an invitation to dinner. I'm just saying, leaving a pie at somebody's door is a good idea. Christopher was...
No cinnamon, though. No cinnamon if it's the mom.
That's true. But a card, only if they, you really only... You might want to leave like a bottle of wine if they are drinkers. Unless they've mentioned something and then a card to apologize. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you're probably not going to stop if it was really good. So maybe some good headphones would be a great gift. If you're with someone who is an adult, I hope this is a baseline assumption.
I meant metaphorically, but yes.
mentally an adult,
yes.
Which is otherwise it's creepy.
You can't take what I'm saying that literally or figuratively. You can't.
Okay, Stephen, what is your thoughts on?
I don't know. I feel like if you're legit, I feel it's more you have to worry about apologizing to the downstairs neighbors for all of like the thumping, because like sure, like the screams of ecstasy and like the crack of the whip, the sound of that is going to travel up. But like if you're upstairs, you're just gonna like you'll turn up your radio or whatever. But if you're downstairs and you have like headboard thumping against the wall, knocking paintings off, that's more of a thing to apologize for. I would say if they complain, first you say you're sorry and you're not going to stop. And then you give them a lovely bottle of rum accompanied with a bottle of earplugs.
There we are, Monica. Christopher just wanted to point out that he is down. He has no downstairs neighbors. He only has the upstairs neighbors.
Then,
so the question is no longer anonymous.
And also, he's kind of like, that's sort of a flex where he's like, I'm having some really good loud sex and I need everyone to know. I got to make sure it's not anonymous. I have to.
There we are. Monica, what do you have any advice or what gift would you give people? The other thing is, too, it's movie tickets. That would have been a thing.
You should go out Thursday night around 9 o'clock if you know what I
to
mean.
3 a.m.
We're gonna fuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to get them a gift for a specific night you plan to fuck. And like, is there impromptu stuff happening or are you just fucking on schedule? In which case, how is it that good? Like,
when a train comes on time, it's a thing of beauty.
Okay.
Bashak is saying, Christopher, stop bragging. I think you should be also bragging a little bit too, Bashak. There is sorry. I know these people at this point. They are coupled. So
I figured as much.
I know also, just the idea of the scheduled sex, which is, it's a thing that does happen in relationships at times. But I think one of the greatest compliments I've ever received as a man was chatting someone up at a bar and then being invited back to their place, and then when it came time to disrobe, like, she was highly embarrassed that it was like the Kmart panties, because like that's a great compliment. That's a serious compliment, because that meant they went out with no intention of bringing someone home to have sex with, but then I was just that fucking charming.
That compelling. Yes.
See, what the person should have done is gone upstairs to the bathroom, slipped the panties off, and then asked you out.
That is not a bad idea.
Or asked me home. That is true. Maybe they had seen me talk about that before, and they just wanted to give me the fucking compliment. Maybe when they got home, they went to the washroom and made sure got the old panties out. All right,
they were wearing like lingerie.
Is saying noise canceling headphones if budgets allow.
You'd have to really like your neighbors, or be having really loud, beautifully obnoxious sex.
Frequently enough to piss somebody off. Because if it just happens intermittently, like once every week, you're like, suck it up, buttercup. But if it's yeah, like, 4 times a night, and you're sounding like a howling monkey, then maybe then the noise canceling headsets are a good idea.
Howling monkeys. There we are. We have our new sexual benchmark to reach. Howling monkeys. Who out there, by the way, sound off in the chat if you're having howling monkey type sex.
Oh, that's I think Christopher's going to be like, yes, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I'm like more like a bonobo.
So very frequent and usually alone. There is, all right, sorry, but it's just bonobos. All right. Is there truth to the saying, women love the value that men bring to their lives more than the man himself? I've never heard that saying before.
Okay.
It sounds like it should be a very common saying. First off, I would like to point out, I would love to see more ambiguity in sexes, because just to point out, like, not every man has a penis, and not every woman has a vagina, and not every person has a gender. So I think the question should be, does a person in a relationship value what their partner brings to the relationship more than they value what that person brings home?
Which, saying it that way, sounds much
Yeah.
more mercenary.
Like,
I think that's like an old saying that should probably be buried
Tossed aside.
somewhat.
But yeah, when you put it that way, it does sound mercenary, but we're happy to ascribe it to women. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
know how women are.
Yeah. Chicks love gold digging, right?
Yeah, right? Am I right?
Exactly. I believe it. I know it's my goal in a relationship is to do what I can to improve the quality of life of my partner, be it just having someone that they can talk to. But it's isn't that the goal of everyone in a relationship, is to sort of improve the life of the person?
Yeah, it's like, I would love to be able to provide for my partner, but if my partner is only with me because I can provide for them, then it makes me feel like that. Then I have no value as a person. I'm just a paycheck that comes in twice a month.
Also, that saying would be true if no woman ever dated a stand-up comic. There are people that have virtually no value in a relationship, and certainly financially, and people date them. Date them all the time.
The chat is still attached to the idea of the loudness of the sex. Christopher wanted to point out, it just asked to join Ian in the bathroom at the Wiggle Room, where he's famous for saying it's large enough for him to have sex 4 times on his own. Cherry Top is saying, I take it as my neighbor doesn't have to apologize, but I'm just as allowed to make noise too.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I have lived in apartments that were very loud and noisy, and I was like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, because someday soon I'm going to have some loud, screamy orgasm sex, and if you complain about me, I'm going to complain about you having phone calls in your hallway at 4 o'clock in the morning, so shut the fuck up.
Most definitely. Though I've had like a good playful bite on the meaty part of the palm, which is you know what, I can't complain about any level of pain when Steve Winchester's here, but just to help keep things quiet at the appropriate time, to be kind to younger people who are in earshot. Parents have sex too. It's normal.
No, they don't.
That's how they became parents.
What?
Yeah, they had the sex once. Mommy gave Daddy a special hug, and then a diamond was delivered to the Cabbage Patch. But I get to fuck my partner.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. What are you guys telling me?
Well, we're moving on to another question before we ruin the innocence that is Monica Hamburg.
This is Monica, yes.
Creator of Pornomedy. So how can I tell men hitting on me to get lost without fear of pushback?
Welcome to the beauty that it is to be a woman. That is impossible. there is no way that you can control how they're going to react, especially because a lot of people take rejection or perceived rejection very badly. Both genders, but especially men when they are coming on to you. So the answer is you can't mitigate that. You can do your best to, be respectful the first time, and then you can tell them to fuck off, and then just be happy that you did. But it does come at a price, because, I don't want to trigger anyone, but, sometimes men do bad things when they've been rejected, so.
People, yes.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, proportionally, I wonder. But I've heard women going completely crazy after being rejected too, so I shouldn't say that. But men do tend to get a bit more violent when being rejected, probably also because they approach more people than women do. Women don't tend to approach as much, so there's some.
And they're less physically intimidated.
And they're less, right.
Thing. Stephen, do you have something to add? We've got also Christopher's mentioning a 45 Magnum with a laser pointer. But I met a woman who sadly had to do exactly that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult because as a straight white male between 35 and 45, I fit exactly into the category that most people who aren't that have to be afraid of. And I can say, if you reject me, I'll be sad and I'll cringe away, but I can't say what anyone else is going to do. So the only way that you can guarantee that rejecting a man is not going to cause you problems is to make sure that you're consistently hanging out with better men.
Well, but that's theoretically.
Theoretically,
because
it's not your job to find better men. It's our job to be better men.
Well, and also people hit on you in any situation. You don't have to be in their company as a consensual, I just hang out with some people. It's you go anywhere and people come on to you. It can be the street, it can be anywhere. So you're really not in control of who's coming on to you, unfortunately. Yeah. But I get your point. It's it does suck to be rejected. It always sucks to be rejected. But I always feel like the person who is rejecting you definitely feels more secure about having rejected you when you act like a cock after they reject you. So at least give them a reason to be like, maybe I rejected a good guy,
I dodged one. It's okay. You I have a point to add, but Stephen, was that a Batman glass? Was that old school Batman?
This glass?
Well, all right. I was imagining things. There we are.
It'd be great if you were just.
I got hit on while carrying 2 suitcases up a stairwell.
Yeah.
And he did not help me with the suitcases. If I can give one piece of advice on this, don't try to be overly kind. Don't give qualifiers to your answers. No, I'm not really open to seeing anyone now. They'll hear now and think, oh, then I might have a chance a little further down the line. Or, I don't see you that way. Well, all right, then if you keep seeing me, maybe that way will change. You need to be clear at saying, no, I'm not interested. Or else you're going to get the stalker. I'm not saying that's the only thing that will trigger a stalker, but that is a lead-in to it. It gives them hope. So you want to make sure that they do not have that level of hope moving forward.
More people need to understand that no is an answer, not an option.
That's it. That's the other thing. Because you can say, I've said very clearly, I'm not interested. Why not? And then it becomes you're going to have to mount a defense against this. I'm not interested. Why not? Because I'm not interested. Why not? Theoretically, there are definitely
you're a
things.
Persistent prick who doesn't get a hint.
Yeah. And because I don't have to be interested. That's not the law.
Yeah. It's so ingrained in our society. If you're a successful business person, or if you're in sales, or if you're it's the idea is, oh, they said no, now I have to try harder because what I want is more important than anything else. And we need to get rid of that idea. Consent's for fucking everything. Consent is for sex, consent is for a handshake, consent is for being in the same fucking elevator with somebody. If someone says no, your response is, okay, peace.
And Bijou has mentioned that being nice is a defense mechanism because the aforementioned threat of violence.
That's right.
And Christopher saying the one thing I miss is chivalry of being kind and helpful to women or people without any expectation.
And other guys ruined that for you. You know, like that's what happened.
So here's the trick for being a person who likes to do stuff for other people with an expectation. Do the other things and don't have any expectation. And if someone says like, "Oh, what were you looking for?" Your answer is nothing, and then go.
The big example that people give, and this is something that has happened to me, is if I ever reach a door first, I'll hold it for someone. Especially if it swings towards me and they're coming from the other direction, I'll hold it for them so they can go through and I can go out. I sort of expect anyone else, regardless of gender, to do the same for me. I have been yelled at because I've opened the door and stepped aside to let them move through. And the thing is, it's because of the assholes who don't take no for an answer that people like myself or other people who've experienced it on that way, feel grudged. I don't stop doing it though. I still do it, and I at the time I got yelled at, I said it's because I reached it first and you're coming through. That's why I'm waiting. And said that, and that person looked at me like I had three heads.
I mean, you're gonna get rude people, you know.
Exactly. You have no understanding.
It's not like if you do something nice for somebody and they are angry because of it, you still did the nice thing for them. It's not your job to change their opinions on nice people because like they might have a totally legitimate reason for yelling at you. Like, don't be a doormat, but like you don't need to fight back against like you open the door for somebody, they yell at you for it. I'm very sorry.
Cool. Yeah.
The worst part was I was in a rush.
Oh.
That's why.
So
That's
like,
why I
time
opened the
for
door.
being
Okay,
yelled
go
at.
through so I can get through. Oh, great! Now you're wasting more of my.
Option
time for
2
this.
is I just barrel past you, and I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. The other thing is like when somebody's trying to come through the door, use the fact that I'm larger than a good number of people to just plow through them to keep going. Even in COVID, because I've had to take public transit recently, the people who still pile up in front of the doors of the metro.
Oh man.
Do you not understand? It's like 2 meters. Let me get the fuck off so you can get in.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started about the distance right now.
Distancing. All right. Christopher's saying, keep being me. I will do my best. I will do my best, Christopher. Sometimes it's hard, but we need to try and we need to communicate and we need, again, to be clear. So my answer to the question still stands is you could be polite without holding out hope. And if you need to make sure that you are around other people, get around other people. And I'm hearing doors creak open and close. So
I put on some Halloween special effects.
I live alone, so this means I'm gonna die.
All right, we're watching.
But at least
your
body
that was a
won't
weird
be.
shadow that walked through.
It'll be found. It'll be found quickly. That's nice. That was my worst fear, so thank you. I'm good.
All right, I'm not seeing any new questions come in. We still have that. We've already been here for an hour. This is going long. I can get to the vault, or people can put in some more questions. Did you hear that?
The crunch.
That wasn't really a crunch. It's like these have been in the vault box for a little while, and it means that I haven't looked at them, and that means they're sort of stained with something. So
I'm going to assume alcohol.
Oh, please be alcohol.
Just lick the cards and see what kind of contact high you get.
I'm not worried about the contact high. I'm just worried about it's DNA evidence. There we are. Here we are. I have the question? Do you want to take one of these questions, or do we have something else to keep going on?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. Because look at that. You get that little like.
Your face is gone.
My face is gone. All right. Dear Love Doctor, can we get as much sexual pleasure without an orgasm than with one? That is the question, and you can see the stats, the the stain that's on there. So
what?
Monica just jumped in with a sure, with
did.
a sounded very unsure sure. Actually,
No. I mean, I was
Okay.
surprised. I'm surprised by the question. Is what I'm like, but obviously, but maybe it isn't obvious. Yeah, it isn't obvious because I've dated a lot of people who get frustrated when I don't have an orgasm. I'm like, I still had fun. I don't have to have one every time. Yeah. So the answer is for me, obviously, yeah. I don't. I think you could still have a lot of fun without having an orgasm, but maybe I misunderstood the question.
And Stephen, what was your thing to be said?
I think it's the same. Like, if you're gonna spend some time with a partner, like the goal is to have a good time, and you can have a good time without doing everything or like having a checklist. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, well, if they don't finish first, then I can't finish, or they have to finish like a certain number of times. And it's like, well, then why are you like have this mental checklist? Like, just have a good time. Like, communicate with your partner. Like, if they're having a good time and you're having a good time, you don't need to put the pressure of something else. And if it comes, it comes.
Nice pun.
Thank you.
Very, very, very nice pun. I actually wanted I read a post today and I was able to find it very quickly. I searched it out because there is it says the 3 boos to female pleasure, the ghost stories, as it is say boo, so to placing the emphasis on squirting. Basically the release of fluids does not signal the height of pleasure. Right? Again, there's so many people. The goal of sharing your sex or sharing the sex with someone should not be orgasms. It should be the intimacy that you experience, the fun and the endorphins that you have. Orgasms are nice, but they're not necessary for that enjoyment to have. So the idea, I don't mean to be poo-pooing like tantric people or whatever who extend the orgasms or have dry orgasms or anything. But here's a list of things that basically aggressions done towards generally I believe it's towards women or people with vaginas. Is saying so say boo to placing the emphasis on squirting, boo to thinking that we're always wet when we're turned on. Because bodies change, etc. So that doesn't always happen. Say boo to finding the G-spot, and women can get wet, not necessarily to it. The G-spot is
People
different.
with vaginas.
People with vaginas. Sorry, thank you for keep me on toes. Fuck, I've so many years of speaking a language a certain way and trying to understand and speak in a new way. Saying boo to finding the G-spot. These are all things because the G-spot location varies slight a bit, and it's just as the size and shape of vaginas vary quite a bit, and yeah, so vagina having people, you can't really want to tackle those people who just say, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. No, you fucking haven't.
Those are people who have terrible sex. That's really
basically that's what we're having.
I've seen the full moon before. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop howling at it.
Sex should be like life, process, experience oriented, not goal oriented.
That's very
exactly. That is Christopher. Thank you for those good words to get me out of that fucking hole I was digging. But yes, that's something to look at. Oh, and we've got another question has come in. Dear Love Doctor, I have arthritis and can't masturbate. What are the best clit vaginal combo toys? Does anyone have any recommendations? I know of one. No, none at all. Well, it's fuck it. All right, it's a great. By all reviews, I've been told this is a great sex toy. Though it's not. It's only clitoris, not vaginal combo. Clit vaginal combo. I'm not positive. But it's got a horrible name. it's a wonderful device. Monica knows what it is.
I think you. No, I think I might. But it's the Hitachi wand or no?
Oh, the Hitachi wand. The Hitachi wand has its disadvantages and dangers.
I'm
as
not
well.
a big toy person, honestly, so I don't know the answer to this.
The Womanizer. That is the official brand name.
Product named by a man, made for a woman.
Wow, really? It's called the Womanizer? That's gross. Okay. Wow, I'm gonna look this up. Okay.
Yeah, it does sort of a suction stimulation over the clitoris, and gives a pulsing Oh, hold on. No, sorry, that's not it. That's the Womanizer. Okay. What did I call it?
You called it the Womanizer.
I called it the Womanizer. All right. So Christopher is familiar. That it gets rave reviews for everything except for its name.
Jeez, what a terrible name. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's the delay. That's why he popped it in there, because he thought I wasn't about to say it. It's about what to say. It's not sure if it's a real competition for an attentive partner. True. But it those who used it, who have given it good reviews, with the exception for the name. So
I guess it also gets starts talking really sleazy and like saying very trite things to you while it's giving you an orgasm, and that's probably what the name means.
Did you Google image or see the reviews?
You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. You mean so much to me.
It's like,
and
just
then it
shut
walks
up.
out. Yeah, exactly. Fuck off. And then it walks right out the door after sex. Like, it just somehow, even as a sex toy, it just gets up and leaves.
For $150, that was the best orgasm, and then sleazy dude leave.
I don't usually have to pay for a sleazy dude to fuck me, but I guess in this case. But anyway, apparently
You're not
this
paying
guy's
for him
good.
to fuck you. You're paying him to leave when you're done.
That's right. That's what. Yeah, Charlie Sheen. Yes, makes
Charlie
sense.
Sheen? What?
That's his quote. That was his quote, wasn't it?
Yes,
Where was yeah?
All right. From what? From which movie?
That was his interview quote, and it makes perfect sense. But that's what he was saying. Was people were saying, well, you're like a man about town. Why do you need to hire an escort? Which is like a stupid thing to say, but whatever. And then his argument was, I'm not paying for them to fuck me. I'm paying for them to leave, which makes perfect sense and is a very fair arrangement.
Yeah.
Because if that's what you want from someone, then you actually should be paying them, as opposed to being sleazy about it or whatever. That's a fair transaction.
Christopher saying it spends post-coitus times looking at pickup artists' videos on YouTube.
Exactly. But it absolutely can't give you an orgasm in that case.
Yeah, and most womanizers I know don't get the job done.
As always, Bizu and I are on the same page.
I am not going to I will knock the name, but I'm not going to knock the device because of the amount of positive reviews that I have heard about it, to the point I'm almost jealous.
If I could have a clitoris for a couple of days, like attached to my body and not like in a jar,
please.
I feel like I would enjoy. Like, I feel like there are so many toys designed with the vagina having body in mind, and the majority of the toys for the penis having person are just variations on the same. Like, it gets the job done, but like when I was a kid, I had Transformers and I had He-Man and I had like a G.I. Joe, and when you go to the sex toy as a penis haver, it's like, well, I've got this thing that's basically a fist, and I've got this thing that's basically a fist with lube.
True.
I want some options.
I love how you did the hand options like that, because you're forgetting about the male G-spot stimulators.
Oh, yes.
So there are some variations for men, but again, it's like,
yeah. My personal, I'm not into that. Doesn't do it for me, so that's why I forget about it. So I apologize to all of you people that enjoy male G-spot or penis having G-spot.
I like the
I'm on point with my finger. Pow.
Pow. What's the double shot? There is. I'm kind of with you, because I mean, the first time I ever heard about what is it called, the fleshlight. It made my next movie going experience a little weird because I ordered a large drink, and it's just like, this is the same fucking shape. It just sort of made it.
It's like having a sip. That's not cola.
All right, somebody just took the joke a little too far.
You're talking. Yeah, you're talking to a person.
Tongue.
Yes, you're talking to the Iron Tongue. Sorry, the Iron Tongue is taking something a bit too far. Wait till he takes out the mousetrap.
I left all my stuff in the other room because
you didn't want to play with it.
I'd be sitting here just playing with it the whole show, and I was like, "That's not good for the audio."
Yeah, I do that sometimes, and I'm like, "Oh, that's very terrible."
All right, as we just definitely found out this week, is how did you get your doctor's degree in love? Doctor is my family name. If you notice, it's V is my first name, love is my middle name, and doctor's the family name.
Do you have any
Mr.
siblings?
Doctor.
Yes. I've got a very famous sister, Tainted.
Tainted Doctor?
Yeah, Tainted Doctor. We've got the same middle name because we're Catholics and we get the parental name as the middle name.
Do you have a brother named Proctor? Proctor Doctor?
No, I don't have a brother named Proctor. But I do have a brother named Sheep.
Sheep Doctor?
I think this
cute.
joke has gone on too long.
There's some jokes about Scotland somewhere coming up soon.
Yeah, no, just in the horizon. You can see them.
Yes, it's across a body of water. All right, dear Love Doctor, I know this is unrelated to love, but I always wanted to know who was the first guy to milk a cow, and what did he think he was doing? I'm not. There's plenty of stand-up comics. It's not related to love on this show. What? As much as I kind of despise this, first person to milk a cow or the first person to eat an egg. I think the real question is, who's the first person to eat a Greenland shark? No, sorry, eat a Greenland shark and survive. Do you know about the Greenland shark?
That's the ones that are like they circle the Arctic and are like so full of like fatty acid poison that they're just like through and through bad for you.
And immortal, basically. They can't find a way
until you eat them.
Well, yeah. Well, there's no way for them to die of natural causes unless murder is natural cause. They're basically genetically unchanged from thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago. But they're also they don't freeze. They don't. How can I say? They don't urinate, so they are basically uric acid fills them, and it's every part of their cells. And so some hungry people apparently killed one, tried to eat it, and then died because it's poison. And then somebody, I don't know if it was Greenland or Iceland, even though they're called the Greenland shark, I think it might have been the Icelandic people, because they won't freeze. That's the other thing. They can swim in sub-zero water without freezing or frostbite because they're natural antifreeze of like urine. There's too much salt content.
Just so full of piss.
So full of piss. They're full of piss. I don't know about vinegar content, but they're definitely full of piss.
Maybe the vinegar was like a side.
But the people in Iceland found out that if you ferment the meat, like if you bury it in a pit and piss on it, then you can eat it after a certain amount of time.
Oh, well, that makes it extra appetizing. I can see why they would do that.
Hey, if you were living in Greenland in the winter, and like my options are my own leg or this shark meat that I've been pissing on at the shark meat of the latrine.
Apparently you can't be a foodie when you're in Greenland starving, is what you're telling me.
Though Norm Macdonald does have, I do recommend, look up Norm Macdonald and pate. Find it, because he has a wonderful joke that starts out about like the first person to discover pate. And I believe the opening line is, hey guys, I was over there torturing this goose, like I normally do. And I discovered something. So I do recommend.
Oh, he's great.
Apparently, geese will you don't need to torture the geese. If you just give them all of the food, they'll eat it on their own and do that to the liver themselves. But I was watching a cooking show where they were discussing this, and the head taster determined that the tortured goose tasted better, which is why we still do it that way. So people are people.
Yeah.
Let's all try to be better people. This has been do you have any final thoughts you want to wrap up other than checking out starting 2 p.m. on Halloween? That's October 31st, this Saturday. It's Monica Hamburg and even myself, I'm going to be there, is for Trick or Tease. It's a benefit for Amplify, which is the scholarship fund for the Black, Indigenous, people of color, for Arabesque Burlesque, and also sponsoring some of Arabesque Burlesque's needed renovations for their school. So there's going to be a fantastic load of people involved in doing this. And Monica, do you have anything other than that confined next week?
I've Confined next week. Yeah, that's one of the things. I have a short film I did with Peter J. Radomski that should come out soon. And if you can check out our channel, it's Forest Hills Productions on Vimeo. That would be wonderful.
And Stephen, do you have anything coming up, any projects to announce?
Most of my stuff is Halloween, sitting at home and wishing I were trick-or-treating related. I haven't got anything on the horizon. Thanks for that reminder.
See, if you had no actual talent, you could just be a comic and then you wouldn't need props, right? So think about it. Think about it.
If I lose my hands, I still have stand-up comedy.
That's true. Yeah, that's
I'd feel slightly aggressed if it wasn't for the fact that Monica was punching herself at the same time.
Yes, I am, and I mean it with love, right? I mean, I obviously think we're wonderful and talented, but also we don't have the very specific skill that you have. That's fucking amazing. So we can't do that.
Threshold. There's a link on the bottom that is just running across the bottom. If anyone cares to donate to the show, it will be split between all three performers that you are seeing today. So it's right there. So it's linktr.ee/Paul Ash. That's my manager. The prick has actually paid me the money he owes me.
Nice.
So I suspect he will be able to pay
Nice.
everyone if anything gets donated to this channel. And keep safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. If you're in the United States, or if you are eligible to vote in the United States, please do so. Just fucking vote so they can't question anything. Well, I love you all. I love my guests. My guests, do you have anything you want to say?
Be excellent to each other.
That's good advice.
They were. Thank you. Good night.